Good morning. Once again, this is Mr. Bulus Daniel from White Knight Academy, Baranguni Buhari, FCT Abuja. As usual, I'm taking the SS classes, English language. I want to greet all of you for being away for a very long time. It's 4 months now over this lockdown. Pray that God will take control of everything, make us to be back again to school in good faith. Thank you for your audience this morning. We have a topic before us today. The topic to be discussed this morning is titled Individual and Group Reading. Individual and Group Reading. Individual and group reading. Individual and group reading. I'd like you to know this, that reading is one of the 4 skills of communication. Reading is one of the 4 skills of communication. It represents a major part of our duties as teachers and students. Success at school, especially at a higher level, depends on our ability to read and understand. Moreover, it is an essential tool for acquiring variety of human knowledge. Reading is primarily an individual reading. It is the individual in the group who reads. In the initial stage, with good foundation in speaking skills, the reading skills are developed. A student can acquire reading ability through the use of any of these 3. First, phonetic method. Second, look and say word method. The third one, look and say sentence method. What does it mean? Phonetic method, for example, has to do with the sound of production of words. So you listen from other speakers, from radio, from newspapers. How newspapers or newscasters are casting news on radio station and all the rest. Your teachers, how they pronounce words. So the sound of production of words is known as phonetic. So you can acquire reading ability through the use of phonetic method. Then look and say word method. You can look and say how word is pronounced or how the word is written and pronounce it. You look at it and pronounce it the way it's written. Is also a method that can help a student to acquire reading skills. Then look and say sentence method. Look and say sentence method. The way sentences are constructed, you can look at it and say the way it is constructed. By so doing, it will help you as a student to acquire reading skills. Then, we want to look at the purpose of reading. The purpose of reading. For any reading to be successful, the purpose of the reading must be one of the following. What we are trying to say under this subheading is that why do we read? There must be a purpose why we read. Number one, obtain a total understanding of the main ideas. You have to read, you want to read. The reason why you are reading must be that you want to obtain a total understanding of the main ideas. You are not just reading for nothing. You have a reason for reading. And that makes reading interesting. Okay? Number two, find some specific information. Find some specific information. Give yourself problems and subject yourself to finding solution or to finding solution to those problems that you've created. Create a problem and find solution via information through reading. So you find some specific information. This information will help you to read. Then you are reading to get information on that particular topic or that particular subject. Is that okay? Number three, understand the material and be able to recall the order of happening. Understand the material and be able to recall the order of happening. So when you are reading, you need to understand the material that you are reading. You need to know what is happening in that book that is in your hands that you are reading. That is the purpose of reading. Is that okay? You understand the material. This material, is it for medicine? Is it for lawyers? Is it for students? Is it for WAEC candidates? Is it for university students? Is it for polytechnic students? Is it for students of college of education? And so on and so forth. So you have to understand the material and be able to recall the order of happening. Okay? Next, evaluate and criticize. Yes, the purpose of reading sometimes is to evaluate and criticize. You evaluate. You look at the writer, you look at the grammar, you look at the content, you look at the paragraphs, you look at the construction of sentences there, and you evaluate and you criticize. Okay? That is the purpose of reading. Number 5. We read for pleasure and relaxation. For what? Pleasure and relaxation. One of the purposes of reading, for pleasure and relaxation. You want to relax, you pick up a particular topic that suits your mind, that interests you at that particular time. Maybe a novel, maybe on sport, it may be on examination, it may be on something that can cause happiness and joy for you. Pick it up and read. That is the purpose of reading, for pleasure and relaxation. The next is understand the style of the writer. Understand the style of the writer. Most of you that may likely come after us to study English in your higher institution, there's something we call stylistic variation. When you get to year 3, you'll be taught stylistic variation under African prose literature. We have stylistic variation. Stylistic variation, we were taught that every writer is unique, and every writer have his own style. So sometimes a writer may choose to use simple English, and sometimes you see a writer choosing to use vocabulary in his write-up That is his style. You don't condemn him for writing like that. That is the style he has chosen to use to write. That is the way he can flow with his arrangement and writing. Okay? So you have to understand the style of the writer. The book I'm reading, is it full of vocabulary? Is it full of idioms? Is it full of proverbs? Is it direct, simple English? Is the writer using plain words or unplain words? So you also study plain words and unplain words when you get to year 3. If you want to study English, you will be taught all that. So you have to understand the style of the writer. That's what I'm trying to say. Understand the style of the writer. So when you pick up as a good English student, when you pick up a book to read, you look at the book, you look at the construction of words, you should be able to know the style that the writer has used. Okay? So it's the purpose of reading. So that I can differentiate between plain words and unplain words. Plain words are those simple words used, simple English used, and unplain ones are the ones that is difficult, unfamiliar words used by the writer that will take you back to your dictionary to do research before you can understand the meaning of what he's writing about. Is that okay? Good. And the last but not the least, understand the mood or attribute of the writer. So the person writing, when you pick up a book to read, you have to know what mood was this writer, under what mood was this writer writing. He was writing when he was happy or when he was not happy and all the rest. Then the attribute, this writer, amusing, is it jovial and all the rest. So a good English student should be able to analyze and check out all of this. Okay? Alright, having said this, let's move forward to look at types of reading. Types of what? Reading. It is only after the purpose is identified that a suitable or appropriate reading strategy is adopted. The following are some reading strategies. Number 1, we have skimming. Number 2, scanning. Number 3, intensive reading. And number 4, extensive reading. Alright, please, at this juncture, I would like you to be closer to your notes and your pen to write down something. Please jot down something, because I will be doing the explanation of these types of reading so that you can get adequate knowledge and understanding about it. So please write something down. You can start now. If you are writing, if you are ready to write, please start now. Now let me take it one after the other. Number 1, we have skimming, types of reading. Skimming. What does it mean? In this, the eye runs quickly over the text to look at either the text, index, or the subtopics. Take it again. In this, the eye runs quickly over the text to look at either the text, index, or the subtopics. That is what we call skimming. At this time, you are just reading quickly at the text. You are not reading the whole content or the context of the writer. Is that taken? Next is scanning. The reader. Are you writing? If you are writing, please write. Number 2. I said scanning, right? Good. Go ahead now. You can write. The reader in this activity is on the lookout for a particular information. Take it again. The reader in this activity is on the lookout for a particular information, or items which he is sure to find in the text. Okay? The full stop in the text, full stop. Right on. The reading is usually done very fast, while all irrelevant data or items are neglected. Do you get that now? So in this type of reading, talking about scanning, is an activity that is on the lookout for a particular what? Information. You are looking for a particular information, maybe about health, about education, about transportation, about examination, about anything. Now you read in detail to get a particular information. Is that clear? So the reading is usually done very fast, while all irrelevant data or items are neglected. So it's not every information you are reading for or you are reading about here. So those information that are not necessary for you now, you neglect them. So you read fast to be able to get and deduce the information that you are out for. That is the meaning of scanning in reading. You are reading for a particular information. Okay? Thank you. Next, we have intensive reading. I hope you are not confused. Okay. Number 3, intensive reading. Please write. This is a close examination of the text. Full stop. The comprehension is high, while the speed of the reading is slower. Some refer to it as study reading. Okay? Some refer to it as study reading, while others refer to it as critical reading. Full stop. Right on. It is by far the most important of the strategies. So intensive reading is by far the most important of the strategies. So this intensive reading has to do with a close examination of the text. The understanding of what you are reading here is high, while the speed of the reading is slower. Here you don't read fast, as in the case of the second one, the scanning method. No, here you take it gradually. That is under intensive reading. So you're reading for deep comprehension. Then you read with a slow speed. And some refer to it as study reading. Where you want to study is good for students studying, getting information via studies. Okay. Alright, let's continue. The last but not the least, under the types of reading, we have the extensive reading. Extensive reading. This is the best strategy or method used in the training for faster reading. You know, we have fast readers and slow readers. So under extensive reading, this is the best strategy or method used in the training for faster reading. It is associated with using supplementary readers outside the classroom. The purpose may enhance fluency, faster reading, or for pleasure. It is a private affair which involves silent reading and is purely done by the individual. So this extensive reading is the best, and it is used in the training for faster reading. So here you can read fast. It is associated with using supplementary readers outside the classroom. It may not be a classroom work. So the purpose here is to enhance fluency, faster reading, or pleasure. Okay? And it is a private affair which involves what? Silent reading, and it's purely done by the individual. Is that okay? Good. Can we move forward? Now we have some problems in reading. Sometimes you see some people or some students can read fast or faster than the other, while some cannot read fast. We want to look at why. The following are some likely reading problems that the individual may face, whether alone or in groups. They make reading slower and delay comprehension. Number one, we have sub-vocalizing. Please, if you are writing, you write again here. Make sure you write. Number one, we have what? Sub-vocalizing. What does it mean? Now you can write. This, murmuring the words you read to the hearing of the person next to you, it is mark of poor reading. When you are reading out loud for the person next to you to hear what you are reading, it's called sub-vocalizing, and is an attitude of poor reading. It's not good for a good English student. Is that okay? So it's a problem. By the time you keep reading like that, before long you are tired, you are worn out. You won't be able to continue to read. And before long, the other person hearing you will come up with some distractions, and you get distracted. So that's why it's not good to sub-vocalize. Let me come again so I can write. This murmuring the words you read to the hearing of the person next to you, it is mark of poor reading. I believe that is taken. Next, finger pointing. Finger pointing. Are you following the step one by one? Alright. Finger pointing. Now write. This is using the finger or any pointer, pencil or ruler to point at the word being read. It leads to word by word reading, which slows reading and also understanding. It slows reading and also understanding. When you begin to finger point in reading, it slows reading and it also slows what? Understanding. So don't use that method. Using pencil to finger point or using ruler to finger point is not right. Okay? So do not finger point while reading. It's a problem that will not allow you to have good reading skills and fast understanding of what you're reading. Then last but not the least, we have regression. Regression. Now right. This is the habit of letting your eyes to move backwards over what you have read instead of going forward. It is done sometimes for the purpose of discovering a particular answer to questions. But it is a mark of laziness and aids to poor comprehension because it interrupts progress in thinking. You get that? Let me take it again. Regression. This is the habit of letting your eyes to move backwards over what you have read instead of going forward. It is done sometimes for the purpose of discovering a particular answer to questions, but it is a mark of laziness and aids to poor comprehension because it interrupts progress in thinking. Please take note of that. So regression is one of the problems of reading. Having said this, we have come to the end of this lesson. Now so far so good. We have been able to see The topic today, titled Individual and Group Reading. We've seen individual and group reading, and we've been able to look at the purpose of reading. We've seen types of reading, and also we've seen the reading problems. Okay? Please, by this, we want to call it a day, but before we close, please make sure you attempt the assignment. Number 1, write 5 things that can cause comprehension breakdown in reading. 2, mention 3 reading problems an individual can face and explain any 2 of them. Thank you for listening. And until I come your way again in our next edition, stay home and stay safe. God bless you. Bye-bye.